So I shot a video on time travel and how you can change the future, the past, and how time actually works. I'm going to talk about that now because I'm going to talk about how you can actually change your past. You want to do that right now? I want to share something very important with you. I saw some comments on my channel about this, and I want to clarify some things. And again, I'm not here to change your mind. I respect what you think. Explore it. Shift. Don't shift. Believe. Don't believe. But this one, we're going out there, and it's going to empower you or not. You ready to give it a try? Let's change our past, and you can do it right now. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fear and live an amazing life. I had somebody say, I believe this. I don't believe we choose our lives and all the things we go through. Change my mind. Why would I want to change your mind? You just said what you believed. Believe it. Why do I need to argue or debate? And then they say, I'm going on the defensive. I said, no, I'm just telling you. It's okay to believe what you believe. But if you go into expansive spaces beyond these confines that you create, self-limiting beliefs, you'd be amazed at what you could accomplish. And I want to talk about that today. So, if you can just set everything over here that you believe or you've been told or what makes sense, because nothing really makes sense at all if you think about it. I want to talk about changing your past. I want you to understand something. Somebody was studying one of the great teachers, Ernest Holmes or somebody like that. I can't remember who it was, and they said, oh, you can change the past. You can actually, in your mind, envision somebody acting completely different. Now, that is a real probability that exists, but what I want you to understand through this video that I'm going to share with you how to do this, I want you to understand that you cannot infringe on somebody else's choices or past actions. You cannot change that. That was their choice. You cannot. Only the ego wants to change what somebody else does. They don't find value in it. The actions of everybody in your life, past, present, and future, are part of your potential, your gifts, your prospects for evolution spiritually. And without those challenges, we don't go to that next frequency. I want you to understand that time travel isn't travel. Now we're going to get something real straight here. No one travels. They shift. We travel in the physical world. When it comes to things like time that is beyond the physical, the dense world that we see and touch and believe we are, we don't travel. Everything's a shift. You don't go to the radio and travel anywhere to get rock and roll. You turn the dial and you shift into the frequency of the station. You don't, law of attraction, attract something to you. You have to shift into it and it appears. All right? So I'm shifting into the frequency of which that probability exists, and I am now present with it. Does this make way more sense? I'm going to attract, and they stay, in this frame of mind, and then, they want that over here. We've all done this, right? Why can't I attract? How can you attract something? All you have to do is shift into it. All you have to do. So then you have to be in the mindset, you have to know it, you have to be assured. And that's not a game. You just are or you aren't. You believe or you don't. And this is why there's no trying to change somebody's mind or get things to manipulate things. You can create and be and do absolutely anything within the role that you played here. Because remember, you can do all those things outside of your body, and you could do that now. But what we came here to do is extremely important, and that is to experience being human, because this is a master classroom. So when you know that, get comfortable with that and say, okay, everything's a test for me. Somebody just destroyed one of the Georgia Guidestones. I'm going to do a video on that. You know, energy is created. You can chop those stones down all you want. But the bottom line is, they're not a threat. Nothing written on any stone or in any book is a threat until you believe it. And then if you believe it's a threat and you have to somehow destroy some material item, then you shift now into something else that's powerful, that creates conflict. Everything's a shift. All right? So how do we change our past then? If it's already happened? Well, it actually has and it hasn't. Your future's already happened too. If you are shifted, and this is why I said, you know, psychics and all these people that, astrologists, all these things, those are all energy fields that exist. And they're only telling you what you have created at that moment that exists. So if you shift and you go in and see them the next day, they could see something completely different because you've created a different future. I want you to know that because I want to empower you to let you know that nobody else can affect that unless you participate with them. You have to be entangled with it. And some of that is making choices in advance because you came here to learn forgiveness or learn healing or learn, you know, different things. You said, oh, this is the game. I'm going to take, it's like, say, I'll take calculus, or, oh, I'm going to take, you know, woodworking, or I'm going to, and that's what we're doing. We're saying, okay, what classes do you want to take when you come here? Oh, I'm going to take that class with you because I need somebody else to do this with me in order for me to graduate, master this. And so that's all that's happening. Again, you don't have to believe that, but it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because everything has purpose. There's no chaos in the universe. If you're saying that you're just randomly plopped here, then you're telling me and everybody else who feels very secure about this that the source, has no plan. It's not the super intelligent, all-knowing, all you know, energy field of everything. It just lets things randomly happen. What is chaos? Is organized. Even chaos is organized, okay? So what I want you to understand about your past, it did exist. It existed in your choice as you remember it right now. What we can do, and there's two things we're going to do, two steps to this that are really powerful. You may feel a huge shift. There are future beings, including yourself, that right now is remembering this present moment, which is your past. Stick with me here, you're going to love this. Whatever your future self thinks and believes about this moment, and whatever you're doing right now, is creating those thoughts. So if you don't do cray-cray stuff, or, you know, act out on a lower frequency, and you pass all your tests here, and you are amazing, compassionate, and you start to work as community, you stop seeing yourself as separate individuals, and that there's enemies, and that there's, you know, on and on and on conflict. If you shift out of that, you will change your future right now, and the future you will remember that. So whatever you're doing right now, a future you keeps changing, right? We keep changing that future. When you think of it that way, it's pretty powerful, isn't it? Of course I'm changing my future, whatever I take. But there's a present you right now that's actually experiencing that. It's not happening in the future. There's no timeline. It's a frequency. It's shifting. That probability exists right now, is shifting and is experiencing something different. Now, the whole goal of the entire energy field that's in everything is to keep shifting up. Shift up, shift up, shift up, shift up, and it all goes back into the great oneness of which is never ending also. We can't even comprehend it. So when we, as the future of the past that you are remembering, so now you're the future, the past, you can actually talk to and help the past you to act differently to the circumstances. You don't change what somebody else does. Again, that's their choice. That's part of the learning, the teaching. Use it. It's powerful. It's good. It's positive. It's always working for you. You look at that past and you comfort the child. You pray for that situation. You see purpose in it, even if it's painful. You go into forgiveness. So what we want to do is we want to actually pray and heal. It was always perfect anyways. The situation and see it as now not something that just happened to you, that's a victim kind of mode. Actually seeing it as a master lesson. And now by seeing it differently, you change that past and you're no longer a victim. You see something amazing that happened for you so that you could master it to evolve spiritually. And when you go into that, this shifts, because this is no longer angry about that or feeling or dragging that negative energy. You shift that energy in the past and it becomes a positive one, and that the present you, which is the future you of that past person, child, whatever the situation was, now shifts into a different frequency because you shifted that. And you can do it from here. You can say, well, that past me can't do it. No, the present you is never disconnected from that past you. You still with me here? Okay. That still exists. You're one energy field. There's no like that happened and then you're separate here. It's all one thing. So you right now can completely change the past by seeing it differently, blessing it, praying, actually speaking to yourself in that situation, seeing the purpose in it, being thankful for the lesson, because now you're here, you're out of it now. So that's a good, right? If it was painful, you're here. But if you're carrying negative energy here, you haven't healed that. You haven't healed that. You haven't mastered that. You can still master it. It's never too late. It's never too late to shift that. When you learn, you can actually shift that situation. So it'll look exactly the same. So-and-so did this or they did this, but all of a sudden, the forgiveness or the blessings and the prayers and all that completely shift the reality and the frequency now, and it clears out because it doesn't exist anymore. Does this make sense? And so you can right now change that past, bless and talk to that scared child or that abused child or that person who harmed somebody else and just say, it's okay. You had a lower choice moment. You're forgiven. And ask forgiveness of the person that you harmed, because maybe you're the perpetrator. And so you go into the situation and you find the love and the compassion. And you realize you didn't make a mistake. You just made a lower choice. And now I know. And I learned from it, and now I bless you. And it's okay. You can let it go. You can't make a mistake, because if you've learned now from that, instead of not loving yourself, start to love yourself, because you're human learning. And you will make mistakes. There's no such thing. You didn't make a higher choice, but right now you know what that higher choice is. And so in your mind, you don't redo the whole event. You learn from the event and you see it differently. Does this make more sense? The ego wants to change it. It never happened. I didn't do that. Or they're going to say something different to me. I'm like, no. They said what they said because they made that choice. And when you don't accept that, you're the ego trying to manipulate and control every situation, because you're like, it has to be the way I want it to, and I want to feel good. We didn't come here to feel good. We came here to feel everything. All right? We don't know what our future is, but we control it. And our future right now could be praying right now and changing you. Everything's possible. I have free videos here if you want to go into my series. And I will introduce you to some different mind-opening training. You can take my free master class that introduces you to breakthrough fear. It's pretty powerful, proven steps, because I've been teaching this for a while and I'm getting unbelievable feedback, miracles. We've had miracles I'm not talking about 1 or 2 or 3. I'm talking about people who've written me who've completely changed their lives. People who've had healings. People who've gotten new jobs, money, left destructive relationships, and gone off to be amazing new people. It's all possible for you. So, I have lawn people here. Please subscribe and share these. Let's open up. There is nothing to fear. There are only choices and experiences of you, the energy field that is all intelligent. And it flows through everything. Grasp this. Celebrate it. The diversity of what we are is our challenge to say, I'm not an individual, I'm one. And that's another form of me. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. You guys know these are free videos, online courses to create online income. Earn it. Work it. Do it. Live it. Don't be afraid. Quit calling the shots on the rules. If you want to go into expansiveness, get out of the box. All things are possible. You're whole and perfect. Oh, I got a fruit fly. Whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my beautiful, perfect light being. Namaste.